Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at justkkeepswimming_podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we're back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr. Stupid.
Oh. Mr. 1-3, how you doing?
Oh, you supposed to hit the 1-3 or something like that. Yeah, you supposed to hit with the high note at the end. I think that would hit a little different. We'll try that next time. Yes, sir. How you been, though, brother?
I've been all right, dude. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good, man. Like your dreads are getting a little longer.
Yeah, I need to get a retwist, though, because all this fluff up here, and then I know they a little dirty. It's okay, though.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, man. Dreadhead lifestyle.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, look, I can't. I mean, my hair can't never get that long, so it's all good.
It's there in spirit.
Man, nah, my hair is just nappy, bro. It don't work. Like, it just gets nappier and nappier and nappier.
That's why it's in spirit.
Yeah, in spirit, yeah. Nah, I'll keep the fade spirit. Yes, sir. But cool, bro. Good to have you back in the room again for another great episode. I think we have a cool topic we can discuss today, and and two little other things I want to throw in there as well to just kind of shake up the show vibe a little bit, So it should be pretty good, man. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about find your flow. So yesterday morning, actually, I was working. We have to, when we get new students into the school, or students into the program, we have to process their applications, And it's like, sometimes it's a lot to do at one time. Yesterday I had to do like 30 at one time, pretty much. And it was just, at first I was like, trying to warm up to it. But then once I warmed up and found my flow, it felt like I blew through the process, And I think that's something that I always learned do so much in life, where it comes from working, football games, driving, all that stuff. It's like you really have to find your flow. Mm-hmm. And I just want to talk about, how do you find your flow? Is it possible? What if you're in the moment where you can't feel that you can find your flow? How do you find a flow still? And then what breaks your flow? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of some 3 topics I want to talk about today, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yes, let's start with the first question then for you, Mr. 1-3. How do you find a flow? And it don't matter what it is. Like, how do you find a flow with whatever you're doing?
It's interesting because it's a similar topic to what I was talking with my girlfriend over the past couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But I mean, honestly, just like Shia LaBeouf says, just do it. Mm-hmm. You just gotta get started. Like, doesn't matter how you feel about it, like, or what's your energy like and things like that. You just eventually gotta find a way to just get it started, right? And then that's the only way you're gonna find your flow, right? There's times where I don't feel like doing homework, and it's just I'm tired or whatever, maybe I'll take a quick nap. But at the end of the day, I just got to get it started.
Right.
And then I'll be able to find like my rhythm and my flow within that project, whatever I'm working on, whether it be work or school or, going to grandma's to help, pull out the trash and with other things, or like how we went over there to, break apart the backyard and put it back together. It's just, okay, you just get started, and then after that, it's like you don't even realize it, and you're just doing it. So
exactly. And I love you use that example of grandma's house, because that was another spark for the episode as well, because it was like me and you, dad got back there, and we all just kind of sitting there looking at where do we start at, and at some point we just start picking stuff up. And it's all right, well, let's move this first and let's move that first, and then next thing you know, everybody's doing the same thing, but kind of doing their own thing. But we all know we have the same mission in mind. And then next thing y'all know, you over there breaking concrete on some stick, and, I'm picking up melons, and dad is trying to fix the electricity. And it was kind of like, we weren't tasked to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had a direct task to do. But we was in the flow of cleaning up grandma's backyard right now.
Yeah.
And once you got into the flow of cleaning up grandma's backyard, we just naturally started flowing. Because there's a scene where, you probably don't remember it, you guys were carrying the cooler, and then I was trying to move the cord over dad's head. And it was like somehow dad knew I was trying to move this cord over his head and get out the way. And then, but at the same time, we never stopped walking or nothing like that. Like, we didn't speak on it all, but we just flowed with it beautifully. That chemistry.
To attest to that, I didn't even realize that happened. I was just in the flow and just going whatever it was to wherever it needed to go.
Right.
And keep it pressing.
Right, exactly. So that's one thing I do agree with you on that one for sure, is to, get your hands moving. Just start moving and start going. That's how I am at school for sure. Like, when I get to school with the day of, I have no idea what's about to happen today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the school has planned, what emergency drills are going on, A, B, or C. But it's like, okay, let me just get started and start calling students out and just go from there. And then usually once it starts going from there, the flow just happens. It seems like the floodgates is open, the ideas that need to come, the tasks that need to be completed, get completed. And you might not even realize you completed something until it's done. And you're like, oh, damn, I did do that already. I was so in the flow of it, things, I didn't even realize what was happening,
And while you're in that flow, you get accomplished, like you said, with other things too. And then next thing you know, you're chilling a lot earlier than you expected to be.
Exactly. So. Next thing you know, the day is over with, or for me, it's lunch. Next thing I know, it's lunchtime. And I'm like, oh, shit, that came by super fast. Like, what happened to these last 4 hours of the day? Like, these 4 hours just flew by. Like, I didn't realize we were in this period already. I'm thinking we still at the top of the day right now. I'm thinking still at 10 o'clock in the morning, but no, it's already 1 o'clock and getting ready to go home. Right. And it's like, that flow is so beautiful, bro. And I think the flow goes to all aspects of life, cooking. When I'm in the kitchen flow is amazing, Definitely when you know what you're about to do, or you have some type of idea what you want to do, you just start to flow, And then it just makes it so much better, makes the meal so much easier. And next thing you know, you're done cooking. You be like, damn, I was cooking for a whole hour. I didn't realize I was in the kitchen for this long,
I usually recognize that whenever I decide to make grandma's mac and cheese, it's just like, oh, we're moving. Next thing you know, 2-3 hours will go by, and it's like, oh, all right, I'm done.
Right. Or do you ever get to the point where it's like, for the mac and cheese, you put it in the oven, and now you have to wait.
Yeah.
And then now once you start to wait and you stop flowing, it's like, oh, shit. What do I do now? Because the kitchen's clean, the food's cooking, there's nothing I can do now but play the waiting game. And then now that's when I start getting anxious, or I'm like, damn, I don't know what to do now because my flow is done. I want to take a nap.
Yeah, that.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's crazy how when the flow ends, it's like, I didn't realize how much I did. And you always have the option of, how can I keep this flow going? Can I transfer it to something else? That's what I do a lot of times. Like, I transfer from clean the kitchen to, okay, let me start folding my clothes now since I'm still flowing, And then once I finish folding my clothes, let's go to cooking now. Because my energy is still flowing. I have this energy, this mission in my head to complete something,
Right.
And I think it just makes it so much easier to find the flow in the things that you do. So, what is something... Oh my gosh, what about to ask? what is something that you feel may stop your flow when you are flowing? Like how we said with cooking the mac and cheese, you have to sometimes take that pause to wait for something to be processed, you know? Like, so what is something that may stop your flow when you are flowing?
I think one of the things, at least for me, is what you just said, is when something requires like a break. Like when it comes to cooking the mac and cheese, when you put it in the oven, it's like, okay, now it's just a waiting game because there's nothing in my control that I can do to continue the flow, at least with this project. Like,
right.
Or let's say for work, right? You're like, we got an influx of interests for kids joining the program, and we have to text all the parents. Okay, text all the parents, and then some of them reply, so we send out the extra link and stuff like that. But then after that, it's just, well, we have to wait and see who else replies or actually gets the stuff done,
exactly.
so we can keep it going. So now it's like, okay, now what? Another thing for me that kind of is somewhat of a pet peeve is like a distraction. Because I notice when I get into my flow, I just want to stay in that and keep doing that for however long I need to do it. But when there's like a side conversation that pulls me in a different direction or something like that, that just kind of like ruins the whole vibe for me.
Exactly.
And it's hard to like, after so many times, I should say, probably like after the 5th time of being pulled away, it just ruins my mojo, and I can't get back into the flow as easily as possible because now I forgot where I was,
right?
What my train of thought was thinking, and then I'm trying to remember all of that, and then I feel like I'm missing something, and then it just kind of have to like reset,
right?
You know?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one too. The distractions really mess you up because for example, hosting trivia, I feel that way sometimes. Like when I get the game started to go into stuff and everything's smooth, it's cool. But then when somebody new walks into the bar and wants to ask you how do they sign up or how they join in, it's like whatever rhythm I just had, I had to stop it to explain to the guests, not their fault at all, you know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, okay, where was I at now? And then that's when I realize I may stumble over the next question, or I'll read the question out loud but don't reveal it to their phone so they can't see it or write in the answers, or sometimes you'll see me read the same question twice, and I'm like, wait, I just read that question, so sorry you guys, and I'll get back up and something like that. So the distractions really do it for me. And then I think the other thing that messes me up is like the break in routine throws me off. So for example, with the school other day, as everybody knows, Thursday was National Earthquake Day, or whatever the hell it was, Earthquake Drill Day.
Yeah.
So both my schools I went to that day, they all had the earthquake drill. And same thing, I'm flowing, I have students in my office, about to call out students, and then out of nowhere you get an announcement saying, this is a lockdown, close your doors, follow the protocol. And it's like, first the siren goes off, and when that goes off, it throws you off completely, because it's like, that loud noise just takes you off your game, you know? And then it's like, okay, now I have to adjust to whatever the situation's going on right now. And then after this, I have to get back into it. Yeah. But then it's funny because you just see in the school in general, like everybody's flow is broken. The kids love it because they're like, cool, now I get the chance to go say what's up to the homie and stuff like that.
Phone, whatever.
Yeah, but you can see the teachers are irritated because, they had this lesson plan they were going to and they were sticking to the plan. And then out of nowhere, they have to stop the whole plan to evacuate all the kids, do the fire drill, get them all back in class, get them back settled down, not rowdy no more, because they just got the opportunity to go outside randomly, see their homies, gossip, whatever happened that throws the kids off their game, And that right there, you sometimes see teachers, they don't even finish. Like they just say, yeah, we'll finish next week, because once their flow is thrown off, they feel done for the day. They're like, yeah, there's no way for me to get back into the rhythm that I just had,
Right.
And I think that's what really messes me up is is when I get there and the things don't just work to plan. Like, for example, I went to one of my schools the other day to service students. I had all the paperwork ready. I had passes ready. I had all this stuff ready. And then I get to the school, they're doing PSA testing for this grade. These two grades are doing ASVAB testing, and then this grade has a seminar all day long. And I'm sitting here like, I can't do nothing here today. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing here today. And it low-key threw my whole day off because it was like, I had this plan of the mission I wanted to accomplish today, and I couldn't accomplish it, and I just couldn't find another flow to get into because I could only focus on one, you know? And I think that is something that, you know, was actually the next question as well I was going to talk about was, does focus equal flow, do you feel? Like, without focus, can you flow? Or is it possible to flow without focus?
I think it just depends on the situation and what it's demanding of you, in a sense. How do I say it? Like, okay, let's say you have an event where you're building bracelets, and you're just creating mass bracelets because you're going to hand them out for like a charity event or something like that. Right. With a group of people. In that case, like, I don't think you necessarily need focus to be in the flow, because if it's like a repeatable task or something like that, then you can have like conversation with your peers and stuff at the same time,
right?
But you're still getting it done,
right?
But let's say, for instance, for me, for coding, I had this big project last week, which, it's like a self-made or self-progressing course, but I basically had to build a program that made a list of movies within a collection, but I had to create an object for the movies to hold all of those attributes, and then I had to make another object which was like a string of the other objects that I made. But all of those moving parts, I had to keep in mind where I am, and once I get into that flow, it requires my complete focus, because if I mess up a syntax or writing something, or I misdot something, then it kind of ruins everything else, and I have to shift everything. So if I'm in the middle of trying to do all of that, and then somebody comes in with like a conversation or asking me a question or something like that, it's hard to go back, because now you broke my focus off of what I was already doing, which is very tedious and intensive,
right?
And for what it requires of me, you know?
Right. I mean? Yeah, no, and I truly agree with that one, because that's the way I am, because, you know, part of my main job at work is to be full of information, you know, and to share this information to the students when they ask for it, of course. And there's times where I'm trying to discuss something with a student, and then another student walks in, and they're not walking in for anything important. They're just walking in because, crap. You want to pause this for a second? So, my apologies about that, you guys. My flow just got broken. But yeah, just like I'm saying, like, I'm trying to sit here and talk to the kids, pass out information, let them know what they got to do. And then some random students will come in and just want to say, what's up? Hey, what's up, mister? How you doing? Blah, blah. Can I get some snacks? And it's like, I appreciate you coming by and seeing me. You know what I'm saying? My job is to be here for you. But right now, you just threw me off my flow right now, because after I have to try to get you out of my office so I can go back to what I was doing, I forget where I was at. And usually I forget the place I'm talking at or anything like that. Just like just now. You know, we sitting here trying to have the discussion, and, you know, my family calls me for a weird request, and it's like, I can't do that for you right now. I'll get back to you later. And then now I have to sit back and realize where I was. And that right there is something that also breaks your flow, I feel, like your other life responsibilities. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have so many responsibilities in life, and you're trying to focus on one right now, and then something come up to really break that, and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I get back to where I just was then? How do I remember where I just was? What do I have to do to make sure I get back to where I was and make this flow get back going, you know?
Right.
And I think that was deep. But yeah, let's, after that break right there, let's go ahead and take a pause real quick. And I want to try to go to our new segment that I want to talk about today, is going to be Deep Quote of the Week. So what is a deep quote that you heard this week that really just, you know, either made you laugh, you like, you know, oh man, that really related back, or just something that really made you just think a little bit this week? I have mine already, if I can start off.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so mine's already probably not the most appropriate quote, but it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So we was at the comedy show last night, and I can't remember what made the dude next to me say it, but he was like, niggas is gon' nig. And because the dude was selling shirts. The dude was on stage trying to sell search, and then the second he put out his shirts, everybody was like, ugh. And then he was like, what y'all mean? I'm a nigga. I'm gonna do what I do. And then the dude next to me was like, niggas is gonna nig. And I'm like, you know what? That's really deep, because it's another way of saying trust a snake to be a snake. You know what I'm saying? Let the dog be the dog. Trust.
People gonna be people.
People gonna be people. People gonna do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that really just made me laugh even more when the way he said it, though. I never heard it said that way, but it just relates to so much other stuff of like, students are gonna be students. You know what I'm saying? That one student that knows that he can get stuff for whoever he wants to, he's gonna go back and ask him, and he's gonna be who he is. Them students that are walking the hallways all the time, they gonna be who they are. That reckless driver, they gonna be that reckless driver. Even if they just got in a car accident, or if they don't take responsibility for stuff, that's how they always gonna be. And yes, people do change, but a lot of people, they gonna be who they are. And then it kind of made me just think about too, of like, you know what? That's why you have to just accept people for who they are, because they gonna do what they do either way. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to stop and just accept people for who they are, for what they do, and don't be surprised when they do what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody do this all the time, don't be surprised. I have people that I work with, and it's like, this person's always difficult. But it's like, I don't let it surprise me no more, because it's like, a difficult person's gonna be difficult. You know what I'm saying? A hard-headed person's gonna be hard-headed. So it's like, just trust people to be who they gonna be. You know? And so that was my deep quote for today. Like I said, it was said a different way, but
it meant something different.
It made something stick, and it just made it stick a lot better than normal, Mm-hmm. So it's like, a loud person's gonna be loud. So yes, I love it.
I don't have one for this week, but I do have one that kind of goes along with the episode. Mm-hmm. And I heard it from like the executive assistant for our executive director the other day. But it was like, we don't park, we do drive-bys. And the reason that came up was we was running like the orientation for our program at the school, and we didn't have extra TV monitors for the switches that we brought for the kids to kind of play with before we did our presentation. Mm-hmm. And then my direct boss was like, he kind of started to get flustered because he's new. And then he's like, dang, what are we going to do? And I was like, I was just trying to see if we had them. If we don't, we can make it work, because we have other screens, or if anything, they can just play it on the little switch thing, because it has a kickstand. Right. And then the executive assistant was like, we don't park, we do drive-bys. We ain't going to sit in this situation. We're going to drive past it and do what we can. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's such an unorthodox quote I never expected to hear. And it low-key kind of hit like for a good just way of life. Right. Yeah, we don't park in this situation. We don't stay in it. We do drive-bys. We just move past.
We get through it.
Yeah. And I was like, that's a tough ass quote.
Yes. Yeah. I love that one. Look, that relates back to for some reason when you said that quote, it just reminded me driving to college. Mm-hmm. I remember one time we was driving, it was snowing crazy hard. And then it was like, you saw a lot of cars on the road, pulled over and stuff because they can't see and stuff. And we was like, I ain't about to park this bad boy. We on a mission. Like, we gonna power through this, Yeah. Sandstorms, all that stuff. It's like, I ain't got time to park and let this pass. We got to power through it, Mm-hmm. So I think that's beautiful right there.
And to kind of relate to a similar thing, when I went out to Arizona with my girlfriend, probably a couple months back, there was a massive snowstorm from, like, basically going from, Vegas to Cottonwood. There we go. But we had to go through this other town, which was going up a mountain with these skinny-ass streets and stuff like that. Man, I went through all forms of weathers. Rain, sleet, snow, and hail. Mm-hmm. And the roads were slippery. I couldn't see anything. It's pitch dark. And we're on the side of the mountain with, like, barely see guardrails. And it's like, I'm scared. I don't like heights. I can feel the car slipping a little bit. Yeah. But it's like, I can't stop. we just gotta get through it.
You gotta power through it.
We power through it.
Yeah.
We can't park. We gotta do drive-bys. We just gotta keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Like mission complete, bro. Like real talk. And look, it's funny you said that because now I'm about to go right back to the episode now. Mm-hmm. We were playing that new game, E33.
Yeah.
And that game, it's deep. It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's a normal RPG, but it's one of those where you can't just sit back and let whatever happens about to happen. You have to keep your guards up. You have to keep your wits about you. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep powering through whatever battle you in, you know? Because there's times where, with a similar game like that, back in the day, what I used to do is, I'd play my part, and then when the computer is doing their play, I know I can rest my hands for a second. I can take a deep breath. I can let them do what they do, and then as long as I survive, we good. We can keep rocking and rolling.
Right.
Not in this game, nigga. No. Hell nah, bro. Like, you have to pay attention. You may think the attack is over, and the second you sit your guard down, he'll hit you with a jab and just piss you off, and it's like, ain't this a bitch? And next you know, your character died from one hit or something like that because you paused for that one quick second.
And you also have to take notice of the situation too, because some of the enemies have weak spots, but if you don't hit that weak spot, then they're gonna hit you with a devastating attack or something like that. It's like you're always in the moment, and you always gotta be in the flow with the fight.
Exactly. You have to be in the flow with the fight, bro, and you have to flow with the competitor. Because if you want them to do something, they most likely ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be on the flow and be on guard and pay attention to how they move. You know what I'm saying? Because to depend on their flow, it could affect your flow, and you have to figure out their flow so you can flow correctly. So I think that's beautiful right there. So my next thing I wanted to bring up was, what is a crazy, weird event that you saw happen this week that just made you think a little, I don't know if it made you think a little differently, but it's made you look at stuff a little differently, or it's just something that's caught you off guard. You was like, I didn't expect this to cause this, Yeah. Yeah. What was something for you?
I can't say, it just, for the way the day was going, I just didn't expect it to go into this direction, especially from the people that I was interacting with. So I'm at programming, right? And we just got done with the lesson, and with this day of kids, they're just a little wild. And it's honestly draining. So when we got done with the lesson, and we're just like, yo, have free time, whatever, just chill or do whatever. And I'm sitting there, and the kids are talking to me, blah, blah, blah. And somehow the topic of this one kid's hamster got brought up. And her friend was laughing at me. He was like, Mr. Donovan, she's laughing at me because of my dead hamster. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what happened? And she's like, okay, so one day I had my hamster, and I had to go to the kitchen to do something, so I put the hamster on the counter, and she usually likes to hide behind the paper towel roll. So, I'll go do my thing. I turn back and she's missing. I'm like, oh, okay, she's probably behind the paper towel roll. And then I had to do some things in the dishes. And then I saw the side of the sink with the garbage disposal, kind of filled with water. I'm like, I wonder what's going on. So I turn on the garbage disposal, and my hamster was in the garbage disposal. Oh my gosh,
I knew it was going there.
And I'm sitting there where did this come from, bro? Where did this come from? He was like, and there was blood and stuff and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm tearing up. And I'm like, fuck, what do I tell my parents? So she cleans it up. And then her stepmom comes home, and she's like, oh, where's the hamster? And I was like, oh, he was standing at the glass door going to the backyard, so I let him out because it seemed like he wanted to go to the backyard. Now I can't find him. So the stepmom goes out there and it seemed like a bird got him or something.
Oh, wow.
She faked the tears because it's how do I tell my parents that I killed the old hamster in the garbage disposal?
Wow.
And I'm just sitting here I don't even know what to say to this. I really don't.
You just sit back and be present. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that threw my whole day off. That was an unexpected lordom from some kids that didn't even seem terribly sad about it, but I mean, probably in the moment, that's traumatizing.
Yeah, that's super traumatizing. I can see the blood squirting in the air. Oh my god.
And the hamster squeak and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, okay, you got that.
That's crazy. Like, it reminds me of the. You ever see the video of the guy? He has a lobster and he puts it on the table, and the guy is like, "Today we're going to prepare a lobster." And then the dude's like, okay, and it kills it. A sandwich. My friend Terry loves his sandwiches. And then he's dead. Like, I don't know why that just popped in my head, but that's what it seems like. Like, the most unexpected thing happened, and you're like, oh shit, how do I move with that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I love the crazy stuff like that. The kids, boy, they keep on your toes, bro. I'll tell you that one.
Man, you never miss a beat.
Yeah, nah, for real. So for me, it was oddly weird. So, as again, yesterday, Thursday, whatever fucking day it was National Earthquake Day. So, we did earthquake drill. So I'm going to go talk to one of the counselors just to try to get some information. And then the librarian comes up. She's like, oh, okay, it's about to be the drill. They jumped on the radio. It's about to be 10 minutes. The drill's about to pop off. So you might want to go back to your room, use the bathroom, whatever you got to do real quick. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I walking back to my room. I'm walking from the library to my office. Bro, every day you go to the school, there are so many kids in the hallway. Like, guarantee at least 20. Like, the other day I'm walking the hallway. In one of the back hallways, it's like 4 kids back there selling candy. And they all back there, yeah, you can get 2 for 1 for the licorice and all that stuff. He back there literally selling candy in his backpack. And I'm sitting here like, I just walk by, let him do his hustle. I'm like, whatever, there's always kids in the hallway. This ain't my job to keep the kids out of the hallway.
Yeah.
Bro, this was the first day in the whole year and a half I've been to school, the hallways were clear. Like, crystal clean, clear. Nobody in the hallway. And I'm like, it was low-key spooky for a second. Because I'm sitting here like, I've never seen the school this empty at 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Like, usually it's crowded, right?
And people are here.
And I know people are here, but it was dead, so I can hear the squeakiness of my shoes as I'm walking through the hallway. I'm like, this is kind of spooky. Get to my hall, get to my class, I'll get to my room, the drill happens, we all go outside for the fire drill, come back, it felt like home again, because now everybody hang back in the hallway again, kids ain't go back to their class like they supposed to, everybody just wandering again. I'm like, and I just laugh because I'm like, it's funny what happens when you put that emphasis behind stuff. As in, I'm guessing the school may have had like, the fire department there or whoever the earthquake people were there monitoring to make sure we did everything protocol-wise. And for that 10 minutes, they made sure there was no kid in the hallway to look bad. We're not about to look bad at all. We about to look clean as hell.
Yeah.
And then you can tell after them people left, we went back to, we don't give a fuck no more. And now everybody in the hallway again, people wandering, and it's, they doing TikToks over there and whatever's happening here. And it was just like, it was just interesting to see how things like that happen, to where it's like, when you really want something to happen, you can make it happen, you know what I'm saying? But it shows that you don't really care that much, because on any other given day, it's not like this.
Right.
But when you really want something to happen, you can make it happen. And they want that hallway clear and crystal clean to look like, everybody's supposed to be where they're supposed to be when this happens, and they did that shit.
Right.
But any other day when ain't no drill happening and we got nothing to worry about, who knows what's going on? Everybody's everywhere.
It's funny to like kind of figure out what's the flame to put under people's asses to get shit done.
And that was my mindset. I was like, y'all should do this drill every day. If y'all did this drill every day, every period, or say it's gonna be a drill every day, every period, y'all have the most cleanest hallways in the city, because these kids, they reacted to that. Like, I was thinking, the funny thought for me was how many students went to their class for the first time this whole semester. And they probably walked in there and this is their first time being present. And not the first absence, and the first time being counted present in the class because they were forced to go to a class because the school didn't want to look bad for this drill.
Right.
And I was like, that's pretty deep, man. That's pretty deep. I love how things like that work, man. It's so crazy, bro. But cool, man. So one of my last questions I think I want to get us back to is, how do you get back into a flow once you lose your flow? That stretch, nigga. Take a break, breathe.
Yeah.
I'll take that right there for damn sure,
I mean, exactly what we did with the family call just now. Just, let's take a quick break. Let me clear my mind. Let me chill out. And then, at the core of it all, just like how you started, you just gotta get your hands moving again.
Right.
And, eventually you'll find your flow back. Trying to think if there's anything special that I do, but honestly, it's just, hey, you just gotta get back into it.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's 100%, bro. I think the best thing is always take that break, man. A break goes a long way. A 5-10 minute break, maybe they're not a super distracting break, such as let me go scroll through my phone for 20 minutes or something like that, because that right there can keep you out your flow forever.
Yeah.
But just taking a quick break, or take a quick walk, use the bathroom. A lot of times what I do, definitely like a trivia or something, when the round is closing, I'll go to the bathroom and splash some water in my face. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of refresh myself, wake myself back up, give myself a realization of where I'm at right now. And then after that, I usually feel, okay, we can get back into what we're doing, But I think sometimes, too, it's just the awareness of that distraction was just a distraction right now, but don't forget the main task in hand, what we actually need to get done.
Right.
And I think if you always remember what the main task is, and it's an important task to you, of course, you'll get right back to it, Because sometimes there's times where, you break a flow and you're like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to that. My flow's broken and I wasn't motivated to do it in the first place, and I'm not motivated now. Maybe it's time for me just to put it on for another day.
Right.
And go from there.
The importance of breaks is, it's like too great not to do it.
Yeah.
For anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I tell a lot of my students too, like, man, take your break, bro. Like, there's sometimes students that want to come and hang out during lunch. And I'm like, you ain't got to sit here during lunch, do your work. You can go out there, have you lunch, go talk to your friends, get some food, and we come back and get back to it, saying? But then some of them know, if I stop, I ain't gonna start. I had one kid coming there the other day, and he was anxious. Like, you can tell his anxiety was high. I'm like, bro, you good. Like, you got so much stuff done. There's nothing you can do right now but wait for this approval to come in, Okay, great, mister. Yeah, because I was stressing, I was late, and I was running behind and all that stuff. I'm like, I understand, but it's cool. You good right now. Like, let's take a break. Let's breathe. You done for the day anyway. You a senior, so go to lunch. If you want to come back after this, we can do it. If not, I can call you on Tuesday. We can do it on Tuesday. Yeah, call me back on Tuesday. Bet, do that. Go have you a long 3-day weekend, because you seem like you got anxiety growing out your ears right now. Like, you so anxious. So, yes, I think that's something right there for sure. It's a break, deep breath, walk, breathe, rest your eyes for 15 minutes, whatever you gotta do. Go find something to eat, go smell the roses, go talk to somebody. Something like that can also help out. Find other tasks to do at the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes for me, it's organize paperwork for a second. Let me throw away some papers I don't need. Let me run the shredder and shred some papers for 5-10 minutes, and go from there. So, yeah, I think that's pretty interesting for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add to this episode at all that you feel like you missed?
Hey, just get your hands moving, bro.
Yeah.
Get your hands moving.
Yeah.
Take your break. Like, man, one of my favorite breaks is taking a nap.
Yeah, for real.
As soon as you get back up, before you even take the nap, just have the plan of what you're going to do after the nap. And then when you get back up, you have no excuse but to just get your hands moving, at least for a little bit. 30 minutes. Give at least 30 minutes. You're most likely going to complete what you wanted to do, because then you don't want to stop once you're in that flow.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of like that one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender when
he had to clear the chakras.
Yeah, to clear the chakras, and the guru gave the example of clearing out the pools. Hey, once you open that flow, it's hard for it to stop. But once it gets clogged, it's you're kind of stuck for a little bit. You gotta just clear it out. But the only way to clear it out is just to get it to start moving.
Exactly. Get it again, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta stir it up, you know what I'm saying? Get that pot stirred again, get the pastas at the bottom from unstuck, and then let the flow keep going. So one quote that I always love about flow comes from Mr. Bruce Lee. So his quote is, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend."
Yo, that's there's a lo-fi song that put that quote in there before the beat drop, and it's smooth. It's like, boom. It goes crazy, but that's it's a beautiful quote.
Yeah, no, for real. And I always like the idea, like I said, be water, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Be water. And I always think about, if you ever watch Science Channel, they talk about how, like, banks in a river get formed. And it's like, the river always starts off forming, going smooth. But at some point, it starts to slowly eat away at the sides. And that's what makes it curve. And then the more it curves, it starts to eat more of that curve. And that's what makes the river go more like a snake instead of just a straight line. Because the water is always flowing. And as it's flowing, it's knocking out tasks. You know what I'm saying? It's eating up the stuff that's trying to hold it back. And then boom, now you got a long rushing river of flowing water that can't be stopped. You know what I'm saying? Unless you do a man-made project on it. And then if you keep it 100 now, if you ever watch how a dam is being made, they don't stop the flow of water.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They just redirect it so they can build what they need to build and then redirect it back through the dam when it's time, when the dam is built. But you can never stop the flow of water, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to learn just to get back into the flow. The flow is always there. You have to learn to tap back into it when the time is right, pretty much.
Right, and then even then with the dam, you have to do like routine maintenance on the dam because the water's not stopping.
The water's never stopping, you know what I'm saying? It's going to keep, the sediment's going to settle up in certain spots, and you have to just redirect the flow, fix this part, and then get the flow going back again through the route you want to go through. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, be like water, my friends. Yeah, you can crash, you can flow. Flow like water. Just keep flowing. But, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that helped you guys out today. Any new projects you working on, 1-3?
Dude, I'm on a hiatus for a bit because I can't. I haven't been able to make music for a minute, so I think this is one of those breaks like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
I need it. I've been thinking about it, trying to come up with ideas, but at the moment I just don't have that capacity in me for what I'm doing. So.
Understandable. You're doing school, you're doing all this stuff, bro. So I truly understand. I was just curious to throw it out there for you. Yes. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that rocked with you guys today. Hope you guys learned something, took something away from our episode. If you did enjoy it, please send us a message. You already know you can reach out to us on IG, on Facebook, on Google. However you talk to your people on YouTube, you can talk to us on YouTube too. With all that being said, though, we hope you guys have a great day, a marvelous evening, or a great day, a marvelous afternoon, and a blissful evening. And remember to just keep swimming. Yes, sir.